This episode of the Off-Road Podcast is sponsored by PowerTank, Warn, and announcing this week, Medical Gear Outfitters.
Off-Road Podcast, episode 270. Best used off-road rigs for under 15K.
Tonight, Jeremy drops his skids, Aaron pays for a campsite, and Ben needs some firemen.
Welcome to the Off-Road Podcast, a podcast about everything off-road. We cover news, review products, and interview people in the off-road industry. I'm your host, Ben, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Aaron and Jeremy. And
we have a new sponsor this week, guys.
Dude, it's amazing. I'm stoked.
So jumping right into the first ad read of the show, Medical Gear Outfitters just joined us as a sponsor. So they're sponsoring our week in review. So everything that we've done over the week. And if you're looking for some medical gear, make sure you run over to Medical Gear Outfitters. His shipping is actually faster than Amazon. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it's been confirmed. They just package things up real quick and get it shipped out. They have really reasonable prices on everything that you need for medical gear, and probably some stuff that would get you into trouble if you don't have any good medical training. But yeah, and we're working with Skinny Medic at Medical Gear Outfitters to build some new kits for some off-roading. So there's going to be we're working on like a day trip / weekend camp. Something that what most overlanders would need, and then something that the expedition guys, the guys who are going out for multiple weeks, would need.
Yeah, I'm excited for those to come together.
Yep, definitely.
So make sure in a couple weeks when those get finalized, you run over to. We'll let you guys know when they get up on the site, but make sure you run over there and pick up one of those kits, because it'll be pretty much everything you need to in your rig for any medical emergencies that you may have when off-roading.
Well, Ben, what have you been up to this week? I see you needed some firemen, so I'm super curious.
Well, so actually there was no firemen involved. At work, we've got a retired Tacoma Fire Department fire engine. It's like a 90s, I want to say. It's green. We're detailing it, and thankfully, due to some experience behind the wheel of an LMTV, I know how to start it. I'm the only person at work who knows how to start and move the fire truck. So anytime something needs to happen with the fire truck, I'm the dude moving it. I'm the dude starting it. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that.
That's fun.
It's not that hard.
No, it's not. But
if you
I
don't
get to be
know,
the guy who does
you
it.
Don't know.
That's fair. Yeah. Experience behind an LMTV.
Yep. It's only 2 switches and a button. I'm good.
Oh, I think that was the first week in a long time Ben's gone first.
Yeah.
I'm usually the one opening it, right?
Yeah. I wonder if Rick has got to drive that specific fire engine. Have you talked to him about it?
No, I haven't. I've been waiting for a chance to talk to him. He's been out of town though. He's been out camping, so Labor Day weekend,
Well, he did work for Tacoma FD.
Yep.
I don't know if it was Tacoma or he was near Tacoma.
Somewhere
in that area.
Yeah.
He's old enough. He probably touched it.
How about you, Aaron? What have you been up to?
I went camping. I was trying to figure out when the last time I paid for an actual campsite, because I generally don't go places that you have to pay for a campsite. This was for family, so I put on my big boy pants and went to a state campground or national park. I don't know where I was. I don't know.
You mean a city in the woods?
Yeah, a city in the woods. It was a place near where I used to camp as a kid all the time, southwest of Bend, out on the Cascade Loops Highway. Let's see, was it called Wickiup? No. Wickiup is a lake right next to the one we were at. I can't remember the name of the lake we were at. I actually never went and saw the lake that we camped at. We left each day and went to other places, played in some rivers and creeks in the area just to get away from crowds. I tried to go to a childhood place called Devil's Lake, which is outside of Bend. It's probably Devil's Lake is probably 20 minutes outside of Bend. Bend has grown exponentially in the last 10 years. The last time I was at Devil's Lake, probably 12 years ago, went out for a day trip with my wife, just the two of us in a rubber raft floating around on this lake. And the reason why this lake is so cool is it's like 2 to 7 feet deep for like at least half, if not more, of the lake. It's super shallow, and then it drops way off where all the fishermen go. But it's just fun to float around, and the water's crystal clear. You can see all the way down to the bottom. We had the whole lake to ourselves 12 years ago on a weekend in July. When we went this weekend, there was probably 60 cars parked at this lake, and there's no official parking. You park along the side of the road and walk down a dirt bank to get into the water. And we just turned around and we're like, no, we're not gonna do it. I'm not getting in those crowds. And there was no place to set up like chairs or anything along the shore. It was just insane. So we moved along and we found a nice river that we had all to ourselves. So
Nice.
yeah, crazy. Also, while I was in Bend, I popped into CVT and I bought myself a new cover for my rooftop tent. Ben probably remembers us having some trouble with my rooftop tent cover. The new one replaces not only the cover, but the bottom half that the zipper goes into. So it's got fresh zipper, and oh, it's butter smooth. So nice.
What problems were you having with it?
It could just be that the zipper was dirty, but as I was pulling, the zipper was tearing away from the fabric.
Oh, geez.
And yeah, and I was also having a really difficult time getting the zipper started. Like you shove that little nub into that zipper starter piece, and when you pull the zipper forward, it's pulling the nub out and dragging it forward. So it was super frustrating.
Yeah, it was so bad when we were camping that we had to blow it out every day.
Yeah, we were blowing it out. You're using like needle nose pliers to hold on to it, and so this new one is just amazing. I love it. I'm glad I did it. I think I've had my rooftop tent for 6 years now, so that's the first real maintenance I've done to it is change out the cover.
Just if you don't mind, how much was a new cover?
I don't recall. It was 120 or 130, somewhere around there.
That's not bad. And considering what you've had it that long, that's not a terrible price for a new piece of hardware that you might need on a tent.
Yeah, not at all. I was happy to pay it for how smooth it operates
now. One good way to keep it operating smoothly is to throw some. I used to use beeswax. Just get the bars of beeswax and just use that on the zipper every so often. Just rub it on the outside, and it kind of gets through the mechanism and helps keep things running smoothly without picking up too much dust.
Is that some household wax? Some zipper wax?
Paraffin wax for canning and candle making. Reduces friction. You can use it on snow skis and water skis and surfboards.
Wax on, wax off.
That's what my dad used on his snowboards.
That's what I used when I was making candles in my bedroom as a child.
Oh, that's a good story.
We've all been there, right?
Well, Jeremy, what have you been up to if you're pulling some skid plates off of something?
Well, I pulled the skid plates off my Jeep because for one, I've been needing to replace the transmission fluid. It's starting to get a little old. It's not quite all the way there, but it was like, well, since the Jeep's sitting right now, it's a good opportunity to go ahead and do that. So I pull, and the other side of it is I'm going to need, or I wouldn't need to pull the skid plates to do the axle swaps, but it does make it a little bit easier because you can actually get to the transfer case and unbolt your drive shafts. So that'll make it just a little bit easier. Other than that, almost got a tree dropped on me today. So we're talking a little bit before the show about high winds. So we ended up going out disc golfing today and we went to one place and it was just packed. And so we're like, yeah, we're going to go to the other place, like right down the road. And there was just nobody there, but it was really windy and an alder tree snapped in half and fell. It was probably about a 50 pound piece of this alder tree fell about 30 feet from us.
Wow.
So at that point it was like, let's go ahead and head back. Our son did not like that. He ended up getting scared, so we ended up just calling it a day. He was almost done anyway, though, so wasn't a big waste.
I can't remember where I was. I was somewhere over the weekend, and there was. Oh no, it was during the week. I was at a park meeting with some friends during the week last week, and I didn't know they had a disc golf area, and there was some people playing disc golf, and I was like, man, what kind of losers play disc golf? So apparently, we know now.
Yep. Apparently, you know.
No, there's a disc golf place in town I didn't know about. So yeah,
Yeah, it's fun. It's a little
Yeah,
bit
it is.
hipsterish, but
it definitely is hipsterish, but it gets you walking, and I mean, you
Yeah.
throw something around that never gets to where it's supposed to go, and it rolls out of the way or bounces off a tree, but it's fun.
well, you know, we used to do it a lot and just go drink beers and just hang out with
Mhm.
friends and walk around through the woods.
So it's like, but not for old people.
It's like what, but not for old people.
Golf.
I've seen old people disc golf. Also, big fan of golfing, so
Oh, so you're kind of middle aged.
I guess so.
All right,
At heart.
sign me out of this podcast now.
What? Golf haters, huh?
Oh,
Yeah, not for me.
I not enough hand-eye coordination anymore. Too many concussions.
I don't think you
Hey
need
guys,
that much
we're
hand-eye.
gonna read listeners. We're going to start reading Apple iTunes reviews on air. If you hear yours, send us a message with your address, and we'll send you an Off-Road Podcast sticker. You can find all of our social media by just searching our name. Now, go hit that subscribe button.
Well, don't forget to check out Patriot Patch. I was gone over the weekend, but today in the mail I got my newest Lady Liberty patch that we were talking about on the last episode. And man, is it cool! I can't wait to mess with it after the episode and see it glow in the dark.
Yeah, I got mine. I put it on the window seal to charge, and I keep forgetting to look at it. And then, did you see that Jake announced October of the
Yes.
month?
Yeah, he's
Yes.
announcing that one early.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
Oh my
this
goodness.
month's already sold out, so he had to, right?
Wrapped and strapped. Look like a mummy on a pair of Mac or something.
Aaron, you're a robot.
Ah,
So it's a mummy that says wrapped and strapped, and he's holding to Mac 10. Is it Mac 10? Is that what it's called?
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
there
so.
we go. So yeah, pretty awesome. I'm excited. They keep coming out with great designs every year, every month, and it comes with the artist proof. So why wouldn't you want it if you're into that?
Somehow they just keep getting better and better.
I
Yeah.
know, and now like they had their limited run of the Pokemon Star Wars run, and like those are hot cakes right now. I know only one person who got a whole set, and
Really?
kind of, yeah, Jeremy.
That makes it.
No, I didn't get a whole set.
No,
You didn't
Jeremy
get a
doesn't
whole
have
set?
a whole set.
I don't
Oh,
have the
that's right.
Charmandalorian,
Yeah, he's missing number 1.
It's brutal.
but I was thinking about just selling mine because I didn't
Yeah?
get the whole set.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, it's funny. Patches
Fun
are
some
like
cheap axles.
I'll never think.
Every
These
bit
are-
helps.
Speaking of that, have you been doing your back massage business to get extra money? You get that started?
No,
again?
I got no takers.
No takers.
No,
How
no
about your
takers.
What about your foot massage business? I thought you did good with that last
No,
time.
no, nobody wants to rub my back or feet.
No, you have to do it for somebody. Wink,
Wait,
wink,
what?
nudge, nudge.
Oh God! Now I know what I've been doing wrong. Jeez.
now the FBI's getting, or PD's what is it? The ICE? No, it's not ICE.
What are you trying to say, man?
The prostitution Vice. There we go. Vice is going to show up at your
Vice.
house.
For back rubs and foot rubs?
Yeah,
As
we
long
know
as
you're
they're paying
trying
it, he doesn't care who they are.
to-
Yeah, you know,
The news is brought to you by PowerTank, the ultimate mobile onboard air system for performance, versatility, and reliability. They are your source for all air-related accessories. Check them out at powertank.com.
Well, we were going to talk about the new Wagoneer.
Yeah, we
But
were.
that
'Cause
was
who's been excited for the Wagoneer for the past 3 years since they've been teasing it? I know I
me.
have. Yeah.
I have. As
No,
a
I-
former Wagoneer owner.
I-
Wasn't wooden, but still.
I knew it wasn't going to be junk.
Really?
No,
Yeah.
I'll say this: the Wagoneer they brought it back, and they did not target the off-road market at all, which
Nope.
is why we're poo-pooing it. But they targeted that high-end market, Escalades and Expedition and all that, and it's great for that. But they also released something else, and this actually has me kind of hot and bothered. Whereas I thought I was going to poo-poo it, the new hybrid electric. You guys read
what?
the article on it?
The hybrid
Yeah.
electric?
The
Hybrid electric what?
Wagoneer, or wow, Wrangler. So the Wrangler, it's got the 2.0
It's got a 2.0 liter. It's
oh,
not
wow.
the, because it didn't exist until now.
Yeah, a 2.0 with a the engine produces 270 horsepower, 295 pounds of torque, which is 15 horsepower less than the 3.6
You're
V6,
talking about the gasoline engine.
the gasoline side of this,
Yes.
with 35 pounds more of torque because of the turbo. Does it have a turbo? Yes, turbocharged. And then when you add the electric portion of it, it's 375 horsepower and 470 pounds of torque. So that's the most powerful Wrangler produced today. That's pretty awesome. And that's all added up with it electric power, which it can get like 30 miles on just electric power alone.
I think
and
20. I think 25.
25.
Yeah, 25 is both articles I read was
Yeah.
up to 25 miles on a full charge.
So just as a baseline, my 5.7 liter Hemi pushes 395 horsepower, so like 20 more horsepower than this, but
Mhm.
actually less torque. I only have 410 foot-pounds of torque, whereas this gets 470.
I haven't seen any stats, not to play the devil's advocate here, but I haven't seen any stats on weight.
Yeah,
How
which
much is this hybrid and the battery adding to the weight?
That's a good point. You are going to add quite a bit of weight.
yeah, and it also depends upon where that weight is located.
Well,
Because
it looks
I know
pretty
the
well.
trick-
It looks well distributed because the batteries are kind of under the rear passenger seat. So you're at least kind of distributing it pretty
Yeah.
good.
And the yeah, it looks pretty well spread out looking at this picture now that it shows the chassis, with just the electrical components and the engine and all that.
Did you guys notice that like the tow bar and the accent colors are blue instead of Rubicon red?
Oh yeah, you're right.
That is cool. Yeah,
It's
it's
kind of fun.
they're saying that you're looking at 500 miles per tank. They say in theory capable up to 800 miles per between Phillips, because you're getting with a hybrid, as you coast, you're recharging your battery. So on highway, that could be really cool. You're
That's
not
a
gonna
lot of
see that.
downhill driving.
Well, it is a good chunk of hybrid downhill driving. I know here where I live, it's pretty hilly, and so
Mhm.
like when I'm driving my wife's Camry, I get terrible gas mileage coming up the hill, but when I'm going down, I get awesome, and it balances out to about 30. So I
Yeah.
can't complain.
Nope. No, I'm excited because this technology needs to come. And it's going to be neat to see where it goes, and it sounds like they did a lot of work, and they have to do a lot of work, otherwise it's going to be a huge failure.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm really glad that they kept a solid front axle. I was really worried that they were gonna do away with the solid front, but
Hmm.
And neuter the Jeep. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that would have definitely neutered it. It mentions that it's got 30 inches of water fording as well, which is
Which
an
isn't that
important.
pretty standard for all of the Jeeps still?
yeah. I mean, obviously, most of the time they can do more. I don't know. I don't know about with the hybrid stuff though. That might limit you because they typically give you a number that's a lot lower than it can actually do for
Yeah.
yeah,
Safety and things,
insurance, safety, whatever you want to call it, lawsuit.
I was only in 24 inches of water. This should not have happened.
Well, if you drive through like Bend, 10 inches of water will get you.
Yep.
It becomes 10 feet of water.
Yep.
Well, we've got a companion story here. This one's on Jalopnik, and it says that Jeep is installing solar chargers off-road on the Rubicon and in Moab.
Rubicon.
The Rubicon, not the Rubicant. It's the Rubicon.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're going to install some in Moab and at the Rubicon. So that's kind of cool to hear.
Oh yeah. I mean, not that it's 100% necessary considering it's a hybrid and not an all electric, but it is it's a good step and it's a good idea to have that out there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm going to buy a Tesla and I'm going to go to Moab to charge up, right?
Sure. Take it
In the
halfway
middle
through the
of the route.
Rubicon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, if it's like the SUV version, I mean, it could probably do it considering look at what the what's that? The Crown Vic does on the trail, right? You just might bang up a few things.
Maybe.
Probably
On
not.
on what
Probably be
trail?
terrible.
Trail?
What is it? Hell's Revenge? Is that what the
Oh,
that
Yeah. Moab's a lot different than the Rubicon.
yeah.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking Rubicon, and I'm like, I don't think you could take that on the Rubicon ever.
no. I
Yeah.
was thinking Moab.
Well, I mean, Hell's Revenge is not like it's a difficult trail from what I've seen, but like there's not big rocks that you're gonna smash on or get hung up on. It's
Yep.
yeah, it's different.
It'll be funny just to see, if some guy in a Tesla gets redirected there to go charge up. Oh, this is a quick charge spot. Oops.
It shows it's only 11 miles down this road at a place called Rubicon Springs. Let's check it out. Sounds like a nice place for our lunch.
Well, and it's it's a highway, it's a road, state road.
It technically is. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And the article also mentions that Jeep has completed the Rubicon in electric only mode as well, without having to stop to recharge or switch on to hybrid power, not just pure electric.
They obviously weren't running the AC.
Probably. Well, why would you? The Rubicon, you take the doors and windows and seats out, or whatever you Jeep
So
guys
did
do.
they
I
have
don't
a
know.
diesel generator in the trunk charging it as they were going?
It doesn't say that. It just says that it made the 22-mile journey in all electric mode without having to stop for a charge. So
Huh, well,
take
there you go.
take that
That's
as
awesome.
real. Yeah.
I'm curious about how that technology works. So, like with my Camry, it's auto switching between them. So with the Jeep, does it stay like if you put your foot too far on the gas, it goes full on gas and electric, and then straight to gas after you reach a certain speed. So does that mean that the Jeeps will have just electric as you're putting your foot on the gas? I'm curious how that's going to work. It'll be interesting.
Well,
Yeah, I'd
and
be curious to know
I,
as
I
well. Go ahead.
I bet for the purpose of this test, they probably disabled any of that type of thing if it has it.
That's what I was going to say. Because the engineers and they're the ones doing it, they can just do a clickety clickety clack on their keyboard, and it will never turn on the gasoline engine. That way, they can prove they did it in all electric.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it could also be a setting through like the dash radio stuff like Rick has where you can turn off certain things and on, like your sway bars reconnecting.
It's possible. And as soon as somebody cracks the code, I'd be interested to see what the tuners can do with that.
Yep.
Certainly.
More power. Well, we've got some listener feedback here from Marvin Jones. Who pulled this? Was this you, Aaron?
I did, yeah. So this is in response to when we had Coy on and he was having tire shop trouble issues, where he had scheduled an appointment. He got there and they're like, well, just so you know, we're running behind for your appointment. He's like, well, no problem. I scheduled an appointment. You'll get me in on time. We're like, well, no, you're behind. And so he scheduled another appointment and they were behind that next time. And then it took him extra long to get whatever done to his tires.
I think he was
So-
balancing them.
I think he was bouncing and rotating. Yes. So it
Yeah.
says I'm pretty sure every tire shop picks favorites and what vehicle to be worked on. I just left a tire shop this past spring. I'm assuming that he just left one means that he worked at one.
No,
that
he's been there since winter. He's been trying
Yeah.
to get his tires rotated.
He's been trying to get his snow tires installed and they finally got it done.
Just
Yeah.
in time to take them off.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I was talking to Coy while we were on our trip, and they keep stealing his tire deflators, which are also tire caps, on his second set of valve stems because I think he has bird dogs. Are they bird dogs?
So
No.
what I'm hearing is he needs to take them off before he goes in.
Yeah, because he
or
has,
call him out.
well,
Oh,
yeah,
that too.
but it's only like they only take like one or two, or one
Good
every
grief.
time.
It's probably because they lose it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably, and those are expensive. They're like $32. They're the
Wow.
they're the Jance deflators. So, yep, I'd imagine that'd be very frustrating.
Yeah, that would get very frustrating. So we got our contest winner to announce. First off, let's recap. Ben, what are they winning?
So they are winning a UFO light from CVT.
Goes
it's
25 feet in the air.
No,
it
it
goes
doesn't.
about 8 feet in the air. Has 8 lights total, with 4 of them being detachable, and a Bluetooth speaker. Aaron, have you used your Bluetooth speaker to play some folk music for your wife yet?
Only 3 are detachable.
Only 3.
And yeah, and
I thought it was 4.
yeah, mine only has 3.
You got the knockoff version.
And I'm not sure if it has 8 lights. I think
I
it
thought it
only
was
has
8 all around.
3
Maybe
on the
it's 6.
main and 3 detachable. But I used it a ton this weekend, and then I used it a ton when we were in Nevada also. And actually this weekend I used it even more than in Nevada because I had my kids with me and we're walking back and forth to a tent or into the outhouse. At one point I went to set it down on my trailer, and when I grabbed it, not the whole unit, but one of the flashlights that pops out, it was stuck to my trailer and I forgot that it had magnets in it. So I'm like, oh yeah, rad. So then I had to do something else. So I stuck it to the side of my trailer, shining light in the direction I needed to see. It's got built-in hooks on those little things. And so I hung it around my shirt, neck, collar area. And you all right, Jeremy?
Yeah, I knocked my fan over.
You get attacked by a folding chair. Anyways, yeah, I had it hanging from my neck while I was doing something in the tent in the dark while my kids were sleeping, and anyways, amazing light. And no, I have not used the Bluetooth yet, but this winter is going to be super excited to get this light. I'm using mine a ton. I still haven't needed to charge it because I just leave it out in the sunshine all day long and it's good to go.
Yep, because it's got that solar panel on top to charge the
Yeah.
lights.
And
So
it's waterproof.
if you are a camper, it's great for you.
Yeah, it is. So the winner of that is Robert Chase. You will be getting an email from us shortly. You're going to have, what are we going to give him? All right, how generous are we feeling? 15 days?
Let's give him 2
weeks.
Oh, let's give him till the 20th to respond. Or how
The
about the
20th.
21st?
21st.
That's 2 weeks.
Okay. He's going to have
2
2
weeks.
weeks to respond till the 20th. And if he doesn't respond, we're going to pick a new winner. So, Robert,
Yeah.
if you are listening, you better get in contact with us.
But we're going to email him also.
Well, yeah. But also, if he's listening right now, and before we get to email him, and he emails us, then we'll count that too.
Absolutely, yeah. And don't forget to check your spam.
Yes. Yeah. Check your spam.
Ben sends a lot of spam.
Yeah.
Now all the time. All right, it's time for
Go prepared with Warren Industries. They produced the first recreational winch in 1959 and lead the industry with their dedication to quality and reliability. When you dig yourself in deep, make sure you have the right tools to get yourself out. Get Warren equipped and go where others can't. Now, let's get ready for adventure and head into our main topic.
Well, this week we are talking about rigs for under 15K, kind of a hey, what can get you out the door and started on the trail. And Jeremy,
Let's start with Aaron.
all right.
So when you say let's start with, should we talk about so when we were planning this episode, we were kind of looking and seeing what was out there and making some show notes for it. But then I came up with the idea, let's each lend ourselves $15,000. Don't tell your wife that you just stole 15 grand out of your bank account, and let's go buy a rig hypothetically.
Hypothetically? We
yeah.
weren't supposed to do this actually? Dang it. I could have put that money to axles, man.
You could have, but now you've got a pretty sweet rig that'll probably outwheel your Wrangler for cheap.
Depends what you mean by outwheel.
Okay. All right. So do you guys want to talk about our picks first?
Yeah, I say talk about the picks first. And
Okay.
let's start with Aaron.
Okay. Mine should be pretty quick. I picked a military vehicle. Shocker. I'm not really.
I thought we were supposed to pick one we haven't from a manufacturer we didn't have yet.
This isn't a manufacturer that I've ever owned before. It's
Oh,
a
fine.
Chevrolet. It's a Chevrolet. So I picked a M1008. Some people may know it as the Cuck V, the CUCV, Cuck V. That's what they call them, is the Cuck V.
It's a it's a cuck vehicle.
Cuck V,
Oh my
CUCV. I don't really know what that stands for. I'm sure someone will tell us, or we could probably Google it and get the answer. But these things they made pickup trucks and Blazers out of them. Standard cab.
It's a commercial utility cargo vehicle.
There you go. That's not as exciting as Cuck V. They built these on super heavy duty chassis, like 1.25 ton chassis and components and brakes and axles. They had like Dana 60 axles and stuff like that. So pretty stout. Because I was camping, I didn't have a lot of time to search. I only found one, and it was on eBay, and it was 12 grand. So I just chose that one. I think you can get them for probably half that price. I don't think you need to spend 12 grand for one, but I bought the one for 12 grand. I've got 24 hours to send in my whole payment. Because that only leaves me with $3,000 left. I'm going to throw a pair of sliders on it. Some cheap homemade custom sliders for probably $400 from a kit. I shouldn't say homemade. You get like a kit, a weld together kit, $400 shipped. It's all leaf sprung all the way around. So I'll take it to a leaf spring company. I don't know what to call it, but a spring place. There's one in Tacoma where I brought my Frontier. I'll have them lift it by adding some more leaves and re-arching the springs or putting some blocks or whatever they're going to do to a leaf spring vehicle all the way around. And then I'll throw some 37-inch tires on it and just send it. It's already got recovery points. It's got it doesn't have like a custom bumper or anything, but it has like a brush guard. And it's just got steel bumpers front and rear and army green paint. I think the gears were 429s. Is that what it said?
I'll fact check you. Keep going.
Hang on a second. 456s. I'm sorry. 456s. And it has a Detroit locker in the rear end.
And it's a 14-bolt rear.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. So it's a Dana 60 front and a 14-bolt rear. So that's pretty stout, right?
Oh, yeah.
Should be pretty good for just about anything, except for the way Jeremy drives.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Bent axle boy over there. The only thing that's a bummer is it's got drum brakes in the rear, but what do you expect? It's from 1986.
Hey, the ad says you won't find a better Cuck V for this price, $10,000.
Yeah, have you tried Googling Cuck V?
Well, no, I'm saying that the ad says it should be
Oh, yeah, look at that.
$10,000, not $12,000. I just saved you
So
$2,000, man.
yeah, I could put that $2,000 into something. Maybe some
Off-road
better
lights.
A winch.
bucket seats. No, see, I'm gonna just keep wheeling with people that I'm a winch guy. I love my winches, but man, it's such a classic front end. You'd have to have a really good custom front bumper to hide the winch in and make it look like a factory sheet stamped steel bumper on it. Yeah, I think they're cool. And it said it has new tires all the way around, so I guess you could sell those tires and recoup some money, and then you put some off-road lights on it, like Ben's talking about.
Yeah, it's only got
Slip some.
235s on it.
Yeah, I think
An
those
18-inch
are
rim.
Those are pretty small. On an 18.
Yeah, I thought I saw that, but now I'm trying to find it again. No, on a 16-inch rim. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. So
And it's
235s
diesel,
on a
right?
16. Yeah, it's diesel. Correct. It only has a 20-gallon fuel tank, which is a surprise to me. I would think that the military would have bigger tanks. You could probably get a bigger tank off of some other pickup truck because these Chevys had like dual tanks in them all the time.
Well, you could
Um,
always throw a bed tank in too.
You could, yeah, you could. It's it's such a Lego that you could bolt anything onto these kind of things. It's compatible with a lot of stuff, and it's old enough that there's just parts available everywhere. One of the cons on it though is it's got a 24-volt system, and then it's pretty heavy. I think it said it was 6,600 pounds, no 5,900 pounds. So
Eric wants to know if this is a Top Gear episode and when the Stig's going to show up.
yes.
He may already be here.
He's
No.
in the green room waiting to be introduced.
Oh, was I supposed to admit him? Shoot.
Not till his turn to talk when he's going to talk about his pick.
So Ben, what's your cheater pick?
Oh yeah, it is a cheater pick. So I picked a two-seater side by side. You can buy a new Polaris for like $15K. So I mean, there's all your money. It's gone right there. But
I think we better fact check that one. I think you're going to get a used one for 15K.
Yeah, I think you're going to get a used one for 15K.
all right. Still, regardless, you can find a side by side
Absolutely.
for 15K. You might even get a four-seater for that 15K, depending upon how used and abused it is. But out of the box, it's ready to rock and roll. As we've seen, that has been a problem on the trails in some places. It's so capable that someone who does not really understand tread lightly goes around stuff and creates new trails like you're not supposed to. So, but I mean, they're out of the box capable. A lot of them come with lockers and all sorts of fun stuff like that. But the only big problem with that is it's going to need a trailer and a tow rig.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get the 1-seater for 15K. Your 2-seater is going to run you a minimum 18.5.
Yeah.
All right.
But you can get used ones all day long for a great deal. So I just pulled up Craigslist. I typed in Polaris Razor max price 15. The very first one is a 2015 Razor XP 1000. So
Yeah, there you go. So right out the door, awesome rig. Only problem is you're not going to be able to go on main roads unless you get it street legal. But even then, you still have issues depending upon your state. And then you need a trailer to get it there. But they're fun. They're cool.
Did we talk about the pros and cons of Aaron's pick?
I did. I mentioned
Okay.
the cons.
Oh yeah, yep. I see it.
Yeah.
Never mind.
You may want to not spend all of your money on a side by side. That way, you could set a little bit of money aside for life insurance.
Yes, that is true. That is true. And you know, depending upon the side by side you go, especially buying used, you could probably find one with a trailer. and then you just need the tow rig. And being light enough, depending upon it, I could probably tow it with my 4Runner. So if not, I've got the Expedition. So there you go.
Yeah.
My wife would just make me sell the 4Runner.
Well, Jeremy, what'd you pick?
So I went all out trying to build the most capable vehicle here. So I picked a 1985 Suzuki Samurai. So I found one for $3,800. It was in really great shape, basically stock, which is great because it's a nice platform to work off of. So to start off, I threw an ARB bumper on it for $900, and a Warn VR Series 8S for about $600. After that, I threw low range off road Samurai rocker armor, so some rock sliders. They're kind of like the ones I have on my Jeep, which is probably why I picked them. I'm super happy with the ones that mount to the body panels, and then also to the body mounts. And then from there, some skid plates. So the full skid plate for $170, and then a fueled skid plate for $185. I found some Rough Country 4-inch lift. So it was also mine is also leaf sprung all around. So the lifts are pretty cheap. When you're going to go up that high, you definitely need to worry about the rest of your drivetrain. So I threw in some Adams drive shafts for about $1,000. It seems weird to lift a vehicle 4 inches and then throw this tire size on there, but this is what I found out would fit, and it's a 32-inch tire.
But you got to think though, with that is you have such a short wheelbase that a
Yeah.
32-inch is probably equivalent to being like 35s on a JK
For
or-
sure.
So
And your departure and approach angle, the thing is so short front and rear, there's nothing hanging over the front or the back. So
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah, totally. And I also did some research, and that was about the max tire size that people recommend running on the stock axles. So I didn't have the budget in this one to throw new axles on. I tried. Oh man, I tried, but and so with that 32-inch tire, I'm going to re-gear. So I said about $2,500 for that with parts and labor. I hate touching gears because they're awful. There's a lot that can go wrong with them. And while I was there, I was going to throw in a set of Spartan lockers for about $600. And to cap it all off, to reinflate the tires, I threw a 10-pound power tank for about $600.
Nice.
that'll get you going, that's for sure.
So that
That's
got
why-
me a little
that's
above
why-
15K, but with tax.
That's why I'm going to go wheeling with you, so you can air my tires up and winch me out.
Yeah, exactly. I tried to get the Warn Xeon Premium 8S, but it was just too much money for this budget build.
Yeah, and it is a budget build, and it's
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
And I would have liked something other than Rough Country, but again, budget.
But
Yeah,
you
but
can
I mean-
always throw more money at it later.
Exactly.
Definitely.
It gets you going.
That's what
And
we talked about last week.
I've been hearing a lot of good things about the new Rough Country shocks.
Yeah.
So
And that was kind of my thing with this one, is it was a very good it would get you a very capable rig for 15K. That was my approach to it. Since I like to do all the rock crawling and stuff, I definitely wasn't going to build something that couldn't go do that. Some of the pros is it's light, it's got good fuel economy, it's small, it's got a solid front axle. Some of the cons, it's small, so there's not a lot of room for gear. So it's probably not for an overlander, that's for sure. And then they're a little bit rollover prone.
yeah,
And not just roll over to the side. Like, it's such a short wheelbase on really steep hill climbs and descents. You got to worry about going over front or backwards.
The
Yeah.
person with the Suzuki probably has or the Samurai probably has the cowbell, right?
I don't know about that.
They're cool rigs. Forrest, who used to be on the show, has one. I was actually talking to him recently. He said he hasn't been able to use it lately because he had some issues with California and registering it because it didn't pass smog. But his rig's awesome.
Gotta hate smog. Is
Yep.
his not old
Yeah.
enough to be exempt now?
There is no such thing as exempt from what I've understand with California.
That's a bummer.
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
Well, so we also listed some other rigs here.
Honorable mentions.
Honorable
Mhm.
mentions. Rigs we considered: a Ford Ranger, a Nissan Xterra or Frontier.
Well,
Um,
before you rip all the way through it, let's talk about a couple of these here, or talk about them as we talk about them as we mention them. Ford Ranger, you could probably buy any year Ford Ranger except for the newest generation for under
Yeah.
15K and build
Yeah.
it.
One of the cons on the Ford Ranger is I hear that they have a problem bending frames. So you may want to look at boxing, and I don't think it has a boxed in frame, if I'm not mistaken.
I've not heard that.
I know of a couple people that have
Are you talking
bent
about the
Ford Rangers.
like an older generation or the new one?
Yeah, I don't know the generation, but
Okay.
the old one. Yeah, not the new
Okay.
one.
Not the new one though. Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's a bummer.
let's
So,
see. So
yeah,
What was the truck that folded in half?
taco.
No, not the Taco.
That's what it's called, a
that
taco.
was the
Was it a Chevy?
Colorado's done it.
The Colorado
Yeah.
had an issue.
The Frontiers have done it.
No, not the Frontier. The Navara, which were made in
Navara.
Thailand, had a problem with that. Toyota's had a problem with frame issues. And thought I thought the brand new Ranger had some frame issues as well. So it sounds like everybody's having frame issues.
Well, either way, if you
It's
don't
a
have a
critical
boxed in
point.
frame and you're gonna abuse it, it's probably a good idea to box in your frame.
Yeah. There's not a lot available for the Ford Ranger, though, is kind of one of the bummers. I think
Yeah.
you're going to be home brewing a lot of stuff and cheap lifts because that's all that's available.
Yeah. There's plenty out there though that people have done. It's an old enough rig that you have enough tutorials, I guess, to help you homebrew your own stuff.
Yeah, but it's going to be DIY, and it's never
Yep.
going to. I mean, unfortunately, the DIY stuff is never going to handle as nicely on the road as something that's been engineered for the vehicle itself.
Mm-hmm. Well, the next one on the list, Ben already mentioned it, Nissan Frontier / Xterra. And we successfully talked one of our listeners into buying an Xterra.
And it was a
And he's
huge
super-
fail. No.
It's super happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it out of the box. If you get an off-road model, or is it Nismo, which is practically the same thing?
It depends on the Frontier or Xterra, but it was either the Nismo on the early Frontiers or the off-road model on the early Xterras, and then they changed all of it to the Pro 4X model.
All right, so those they have everything you need out of the box to be fairly capable, and in a stock route be set, and then building up from there. There's plenty of support on the market out there to build a nice rig.
Yeah. Well, the next one's all yours, Ben. Tell us about it.
It's a Forerunner. Depending upon your generation, you've got a ton of support, ton of options. Super capable rig out of the box. If you get a later model with an off-road edition or third gen, it has a locker. Depending upon the model you get, it will come with a locker. If you don't, even still without the locker, it's great. It's solid. I love mine.
CK Knife and Tool just gave us a shout out.
How new of a what generation of a Forerunner do you think you get? You could get a fourth gen?
So I got my fourth gen for just about 6.
Oh,
On
okay. So
average
then
though, they
definitely.
sell for about 10. So I mean
You had
that's
some extenuating circumstances with yours.
yeah, mine had a custom paint job that was like mint camouflage paint job. So that really helped my price and the miles were higher. That said, even with higher miles, depending upon the engine, you're looking at 300 to 500,000 miles if it's been treated well and gotten its maintenance.
You'd never know though with a used vehicle.
Yes, you never do know. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of a roll of the dice, but Toyotas have been abused all over the world, and there's even a war with the Toyota name in it. Little fact of history there.
So the next rig on our list, and I have a lot of familiarization with this, is a Toyota Tacoma. Now,
Mhm.
I will say, depending on the area that you are located, you may not be able to find it for under 15K.
Or
I
you might
know.
not be able to find a V6.
Yes.
Lots of 4-cylinders.
Yeah, nobody wants the 4-cylinder. I will say that my dad got a newer. So my dad owned a Tacoma about the same time I owned a Tacoma. He was on the East Coast. I was in the Pacific Northwest, and he got a newer. I think it was 2 years newer for like $3,000 less than mine.
Yeah,
That
it all
happens out
depends
there.
on where you live.
Yeah.
Um, and that's part of the thing is depending upon your market. I know here in the Pacific Northwest, a 4-wheel drive vehicle is really wanted a lot. The farther north you are, where you have snow and stuff, people want 4-wheel drive vehicles.
Well, and specifically the Tacoma for some reason out here.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, but it drives
when
4-wheel drive.
when I was up in the Tacoma area, Tacoma, Washington area, and I was shopping for a Subaru. I wanted a specific turbocharged all-wheel drive Subaru, but it wasn't the WRX. I wanted the Legacy GT and the fourth gen Legacy GT. And if I would have flown to Salt Lake City and bought one there, I would have saved between $4,000 and $5,000 to fly and then drive home. I wouldn't have saved that much, but they were $4,000 to $5,000 cheaper for the same rigs, same mileage. There was only 2 models. There was a limited version and a non-limited, and then there was automatic or manual. So there wasn't really like picking and choosing all these different types. But yeah, there was a huge difference from the Pacific Northwest to Salt Lake City.
Yeah, and the cool thing is the farther south you go, you leave the Rust Belt. So the more better condition your frame's going to be in. I know if you've got a Forerunner that's in the Rust Belt, you've really got to look at the frames before you're buying it.
Same with the Tacomas.
Same with the Tacomas. Same with Lexuses. Actually, pretty much any rig. If it's in the Rust Belt, you really got to inspect that frame and make sure that the rust has not had its way with it. And Mr. Axle guy, the bent axle, you know this rig probably as well as I do, if not better now. What you got?
Yeah, so you're referring to the JK. So you can find a lot of the older model JKs for that are pretty moderately built for like 15K. If you're planning on an axle swap anyway, in your future, you might just suffer through with the Dana 30 for a while, and just keep your tire size down. But and definitely stay away from the go newer than 2012 for sure.
For engine choices.
Yeah, unless you're gonna swap the engine with a Hemi.
Well,
I
you
don't
could also go backwards and not get a JK. You could get something prior to
Yeah.
the JK with the inline 6 and still build it up and have fun with it. But
For sure.
they do hold their value quite well, but
Yep.
it's
Yes,
because
they do.
they're a capable vehicle.
Yeah,
Yep.
well, for instance, if you want an LJ, which is the TJ's longer version, those drive a high bargain. I haven't seen
Yeah,
one for under
good luck.
15.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, those are very sought after.
It's got the 4.0, a Rubicon. Aren't they all Rubicons with the LJs? I can't remember, but they're
not
just
sure.
awesome. Slightly longer wheelbase. And you've got more trunk space. I like the LJs. I want one.
You know
Even
what?
a TJ.
I just pulled up on Portland Craigslist here and typed in Jeep LJ, and one popped up right on top, and they want 16 for it. And then another one popped up, and they want 15 for it.
Yeah.
Um,
Right
oh
there.
nope, that one for 15 is not an LJ. I can tell that for sure.
How's it, TJ?
Yeah. Yep. It's just a TJ. It's a Rubicon, but it's just a TJ. And then there's an 06 Unlimited LJ, and they want almost $28,000 for it. Oof.
So the LJ is not really. They never actually called it an LJ. It was a TJ Unlimited.
Okay.
Officially, everybody calls it
yeah.
an LJ.
Okay.
Yes.
Who cares about their?
I didn't know
official
that. That's good to know.
Well, our next vehicle here is a lot similar to Toyota 4Runner, which is the GX470. The 470 only has the V8, which is pretty awesome. It's a little bit more powerful of an engine. It's got a what do they call it? A barn door? Is that when it opens from the side instead of flipping up?
I've never heard of it called a barn door.
Neither have I.
All right, it's the door that
Um,
opens up from the side versus flipping up, like a hatch.
I think they all are hatches. I don't think any of them open. I don't think any of them are hinged on the side.
The
Oh, I
470s.
take that. I take that back. It is hinged on the side. It sure looks like it swings up in the picture.
Nope, it's hinged from
Yeah.
the sides.
Look at that.
Yep, they're pretty awesome. So it's a lot like the Toyota 4Runners, except it's basically a higher trim package, with the V8. And then our next one here, something I owned, is the Toyota Land Cruiser. I had an 80 series. I got mine for about what was it, $3,000. Nowadays I can't find one for under 7, because the 80 series is so sought after, and the 100 series and 200 series the price goes up and up and up. You can't find them for all that cheap, but you can find them. They just got higher miles, but they're still good to go and pretty capable rigs out of the box.
Yeah, those I think have held their value and gone up, and I've drooled over them for a long time, but it just wasn't the rig that I've ever needed at the time I've needed it. Our last one here, I threw this one at the bottom of the list here. The Mitsubishi Montero. I don't know much about these. I know we did a Montero episode. We probably should revisit that soon, but they made 3 generations of them. The second gen they made a Gen 2 and a Gen 2.5, but the Gen 3s were pretty capable. I believe they came with a factory rear locker. You could like lift them 2 inches and stuff 35s in them, and they were full of creature comforts, and they had like that Tacoma. That I'm sorry, not Tacoma. That Toyota. What is the
A-Track.
A-Track?
Yeah, the A-Track. Thank you. They've got something like that long before Toyota had it. This traction control stuff that helps you in off-road situations. So kind of fancy stuff before other people had it. And from what I understand, they've got really good axles underneath them as well, fairly stout axles. So when Jeremy sells his JK, he may be ended up in a Montero down the road. We'll see.
No,
Isn't that
no,
Kravitz
not selling the JK.
was a Montero, or his wife got?
What was?
Kravitz?
Say it again, Ben.
Isn't that what Aaron Kravitz got? Was the Montero?
Yeah, but I think they have a Gen 1 Montero.
Oh, Montero. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Montero. Yeah. Well, we do have to add with this a disclaimer. Keep in mind that these rigs are going to have high mileage. Most of them are likely going to need maintenance, and most likely they won't have the creature comforts that a lot of the newer stuff has. So, while it may be a budget vehicle, expect that you're going to get budget options with it, such as not having possibly working AC or um, locking differentials. So yeah,
Or a pre-smiling axle.
yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. A smiling axle. There you go.
Yeah, you just don't know. Sometimes it's rolling the dice with a used vehicle, but other times you might find something that someone has poured tons of their money that they won't get back out of it as far as maintenance stuff or off-road parts. Sometimes you can buy a built rig, save a lot of money because you can't really sell it for what you put into it.
Nope.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, if you've got any other budget rigs in mind, obviously we didn't hit all of them. Some of them we didn't want to talk about. And yeah, hit us up, write into us. Tell us what your budget rig is. Tell us what you paid for your budget rig if you've built one up. And maybe we'll talk about it on our next episode.
Don't forget to visit Patriot Patch and join the Patch of the Month Club. Check out our Gaia affiliate link for up to 40% off. Also, don't forget to head over to Warren and Power Tank to see all of their great gear. We are a proud part of the Firearms Radio Network. Got a question or comment? Send it to us through our webpage at firearmsradio.tv or through our social media channels by searching for Off-Road Podcast. Also, you can listen to us live at overlandradio.com, Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific. When off-road, please remember to have fun, tread lightly, be safe and courteous, and thanks for listening